All right. Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, two of the brightest stars, up-and-coming stars in the sport of boxing. Shakur Stevenson is coming along so fast that you got a major IBF champion running for the hills, trying to get away from him. Teofimo Lopez fights this weekend, and he got to back up a lot of talk with a great performance. Or I got to put him behind Shakur Stevenson as in my ranking of the top prospects at 135 pounds and below. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, subscribe. Also, thank you so much to the new patrons we got over on the Patreon page. Thank you so much for the support. Also, thank you to everybody that donates in the super chat and the live streams. Thank you to everybody, the regular crew that comes by for the conversations that we have. And also OG Boxing Talk, Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's get at it. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, we've been talking about them for maybe the last year and a half pretty actively, along with guys like Ryan Garcia, guys like Money Powell the Fourth, and the other Virgil Ortiz, all these up-and-coming future superstar type boxers we have. As we know, boxing is a sport that continues to change. The faces change, the politics stay the same. And now you got a new breed, a new class of people coming through. Robles from Cuba, who just defected. We're gonna see how what he's doing. But Top Rank, who is not usually my favorite, is not my favorite promotional outfit, but I must admit does a good job promoting their new up and coming fighters. Has two of the best, that being Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. I did a video not too long ago about some comments that Shakur Stevenson had made on Max on Boxing to Max Kellerman about how he felt that Teofimo Lopez was getting a lot of the publicity, and how he thought he was getting the short end of the stick from ESPN and Top Rank in that regard. And he did that before the fight that he had last weekend in Newark, New Jersey. We had a lot of people, a lot of subscribers, a lot of friends of the channel, like my man Kurt Sugar, the boxing historian, the renowned boxing historian Kurt Sugar, said that the atmosphere for Shakur Stevenson at that fight was electric. The city of Newark was really amped and behind him. So hopefully now he's got that home base, that fan base that's going to build him up. The problem is that he's going to have a lot of people ducking him. Now, Josh Warrington, the IBF 126-pound champion out of the UK, said through his manager that he is not fighting Shakur Stevenson unless Shakur Stevenson has a belt. And that it's just a very hard fight where he doesn't get anything out of it for fighting Shakur Stevenson. And that, in my mind, sounds like duck sauce to me. Smells like duck sauce, tastes like duck sauce. I think he's ducking them. Okay, quack, quack. That's some garbage. That is the usual excuse that people say when they don't want to fight somebody they think they cannot beat. Because I'm quite sure Josh Warrington would fight somebody else that he doesn't think that he knows he can beat, that has a smaller name and a lower reputation than Shakur Stevenson does. The fact of the matter is Josh Warrington has a very small chance of beating Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is the by far superior boxer. And my evidence for that was watching the last fight between Warrington and Kid Galahad, where Kid Galahad was making that man miss all day long, pot-shotting him. Not easy money, because Kid Galahad, I do believe, is an upper-level domestic fighter out there in the UK. Okay, now one of the things that the manager said, for Josh Warrington's manager said, was that, Josh is a champion like Lee Selby was a champion. And so Shakur Stevenson is chasing Josh Warrington like Josh Warrington was chasing Lee Selby. Exactly. And Josh Warrington beat Lee Selby. And Shakur Stevenson will beat Josh Warrington. And as boxing fans, let's get cut to the chase, man. If there's somebody out there you can't beat, you need to give up that belt, man. You need to give up the belt, playing the games, looking for unification fights, all of that type of stuff. Hey, if this, and I got to look at the rankings. If Shakur Stevenson gets up in that ranking and can force a mandatory title defense against Josh Warrington needs to man up and take that fight. At the very least, Josh Warrington needs to tell his manager to stop talking that old cliche talk about how you have nothing to gain from fighting the young contender when really what you mean is we're not about to fight him because we can't win. And we need to hold on to this belt as long as we can. And if we're going to lose it, we're going to lose it to Leo Santa Cruz, who Josh Warrington has a better chance of beating, in my opinion, than beating Shakur Stevenson. Or fighting Gary Russell Jr., which you're not doing. Okay? Josh Warrington is not going to fight Gary Russell Jr. any faster than he's going to fight Shakur Stevenson because of the style of fighters. Both of those guys will pot shot overly aggressive Josh Warrington all day long, win the fight walking away, and walk out the door with his belts. But he's hoping that he might be able to get some money up off of Leo Santa Cruz, who seems very hesitant himself to fight anybody that would create any type of difficulty for him at 126 pounds, like he did at 122 pounds when he skipped up out of there to get away from Guillermo Rigondeaux. So, look, man, I'm hoping Shakur Stevenson gets that match. But right now, the fact that Josh Warrington won't fight him makes me believe that is the reason why I'm saying, man, I'm putting this guy up at the top of my prospect list for guys under 135 pounds. I'm not talking about cats at 140. I'm not talking about, Money Pal up at 160, up at 168 pounds, or Ife Agagbe, Daniel Dubois up there at 100, up at heavyweight. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm separating these into the smaller guys. Now, right next to Shakur Stevenson and previously above him was my man, Teofimo Lopez. Forgive me. Teofimo Lopez, from the Honduran Teofimo Lopez, fighting. I do believe he fights up out of New York. Very strong, very fast, very athletic, highly skilled boxer who, quite honestly, in his last knockout win, didn't look that good to me. He wound up getting the knockout, but he just did not look as crisp and as sharp as Shakur Stevenson did in Shakur Stevenson's fight before last. Now, the last fight for Shakur Stevenson, I'm not putting a lot of stock into that fight, because the one that happened in Newark, because, man, the guy was a fifth option. Nobody wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson, from what I understand, or very few people wanted to fight him. So he got that particular guy, and that guy was just running around the whole fight trying not to get knocked out, and he wound up not being successful at it. But I did see a lot of skills in Shakur Stevenson. Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, to stay up there with Shakur Stevenson as far as being the top guy, the top, prospects at 135 pounds and below, needs a very solid performance this Saturday coming up. And he has all the ability in the world to do it, man. He's a very, very talented fighter. I do believe that he should be up for a world championship shot at 135 pounds soon. But the way that 135 pounds is being locked up, I don't think he's going to get it. I think he's going to wind up getting forced up to 140 pounds, because Vasily Lomachenko more than likely is going to wind up with everything except the IBF belt. The WBC, the WBA, and the WBO are probably going to be with Vasily Lomachenko. Then you have Richard Comey. You have Richard Comey with the IBF. And I don't really know, man, if that's a smart fight for Teofimo Lopez to take at this time. I think he needs he needs more fights before he gets in there with Richard Comey. Because Richard Comey he ain't no joke, man. He's not joke. He had one of the more convincing wins against, well, actually, even in his loss against Robert Easter Jr., man, he gave Robert Easter Jr. a heck of a fight. And a lot of people thought that Robert Easter Jr. had lost to him. And then what he did to Ray Beltran, he demolished Ray Beltran. You know, this guy is an aggressive, strong fighter. And, you know, I don't know, Teofimo Lopez looks like he's gotten the edge in the talent level, but I don't know if it's that time for him right now. So it might be a little bit off before he gets it. Or since he's a bigger kid, he might wind up being up there at 140 pounds. And that means he's going to be in the realm of some big boys like Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor. I do believe that other prospect is one of the top prospects above that. Virgil Ortiz is up there. So we see what happens, man. Anyway, that's my thought on the matter. Let me know what you think in the comment section and what has to happen for Teofimo Lopez this weekend. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think of Shakur Stevenson? And with that, I'm out. Peace.